Alright, so we're moving on to the back of the car. Obviously we're going to have a full fuel system in this car. We've got a fuel cell that the car came with. I don't like how they had it laid out before. They had this big alley plate here in there. It's just atrocious. What I plan to do is I'm going to flappy down the edges here, and we're going to put some tube bar across and weld it in. And then we're going to mount the fuel cell onto there, and yeah, it'll be nice, neat, clean, and then we'll have the fuel pump come off of there and stuff like that, and yeah, we'll obviously make it in the centre. So that's the plan here. Let's do it. What I like to do when I build my cars is, obviously I like to sit down and work out exactly what you have to do and make it as good as it can be, and obviously as price effective as it can be as well. So obviously, as you can see here, we've got my fuel system. The other day we welded all these brackets in and bars in and mounted the fuel cell. That's nice and firm. This fuel tank came in the car. It had a different layout in here. I didn't like how it was. It's much cleaner and nicer the way it is now. They also had the tank mounted sideways and all silly stuff. It's all sorted down. So the tank is in the center of the car. On this car, I'm going to keep it quite simple. On my cars, I like to run 2 fuel filters. Basically, if anything goes wrong in the fuel tank, such as dirt or anything like that, which there's a high chance of dirt going in the fuel tank, obviously we fuel up every set of tyres. Bits of rubber could be sitting on top of the fuel tank, anything like that. Anything can fall in there. You'll want to be as safe as possible and run a fuel filter straight after the tank before it even goes to your fuel pump. So that way, if anything does happen to go in there, you don't kill a fuel pump or get any sort of bad sort of blockages that you don't want. After that, I have a Bosch 044 fuel pump. I've got a brand new one we're going to put in. It's in the car, but I'm just going to use this to dummy up what we need to, and so we can know where our wires need to go to and all that stuff. I've just got this here for now, so I can mount that where I want to mount it. Then after the fuel pump, I run another fuel filter. You're probably wondering why I'm running 2 fuel filters. That's because I've seen in the past fuel pumps letting go and putting copper through fuel lines, and obviously copper going through fuel lines can block injectors and then cause injectors to fail, which can cause your motor to blow up. You always need to be safe on running as many fuel filters as you can afford, and my recommendation is at minimum run 2 fuel filters, one before the pump, one after the pump. I used to run 2 of these Speedflow fuel filters. They are quite pricey, but I've got this one here laying around, an Aeroflow one, which will do fine. This has a very good fine filter in it, and this one's a little bit more open than this one. So this one can just be to catch the stuff before the pump, and if anything happens to get through it, this one will do its job afterwards. Basically what I need to do is work out what fittings we need, what distances we need things, and how to make it look nice and presentable. You know, we've gone to the effort of making everything as nice as we can. I want to continue doing that. We are going to talk you through how we're going to do this. So what I like to do is I like to sit down, get my book out, get my fittings and whatever I've got already. We've also got this fuel reg here, but we can get into that in a little bit. So what we do here is we get a piece of paper so you can write all your stuff down. Obviously I don't have all the fittings I need, so I'm going to need to write down what I need. I also like to draw it so that way when you go to the shop you remember exactly what you need, where you need it. If there's anything else you need to remember, or even as such, the place where I go to get my fittings from, he always talks through with me what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. So if I show him what I'm doing, he'll most likely go, oh yeah, they do this, this or this, or I'm doing it wrong, or I could do that, whatever the case may be. That's always good and handy to have a drawing of what you're doing too. You obviously want to work it out to look the best it can. Obviously we're spending the money on fittings and whatnot, you want to do it right and do it properly once. So we'll start off at the front. So this fuel system has -10 outlets. That's pretty big for this sort of car and power that we're pushing. And plus obviously the bigger you go in size, the more expensive the fittings and the hose gets. So what I do is I run -8 on my cars. What I'm going to do is run an adapter straight away from -10 to 8. And then we're going to go from there to a 90. As you can see, we've got 2 outlets. We're going to keep one blocked off and we're going to use this one. We're going to go from -10 to -8 on a 90. Obviously we can't go straight because I welded a bar in there, but I left enough room to obviously be able to get a fitting in there. We're going to do Speedflow adapter 90. I'll show you in a second in the book. So there's all different ways and things you can do here. So obviously female and male fittings. If you go into a 90, you can do it female to female, you can do it female to male, male to female, etc, etc. So we know that we have a male fitting here, so we need to go male to either female or male. The parts we have here, we obviously, if we're going to go straight to this fuel filter, which we could do, we can put a 90 on it and put this upside down in here like this. But to be honest, I want to be able to see it and be able to access it very easy. So what I'll probably do is we'll run a 90 under with a little bit of line, which push off the line there. So we'll probably use this line here. What I'm going to do is, guys, go the easiest way. I need to obviously think about it while I do it. So I'm going to put you guys in the corner while I do all this. I'll just time lapse it. And then once I'm done working it out, I'll talk you through it and I'll show you the fittings that we're going to use, and then we'll go from there. My mate Ryan's here again. He's been down to a shop down the road. He got me all my Speedflow fittings and lines to finish the fuel system. We pretty much have everything there. One fitting got mixed up, so we're going to swap that tomorrow. From crashing and stuff like that, we're going to put this in the car, and instead of putting it in a spot